Hello, my name is Newlin. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior. I want everybody to take a step back to when they were a young child sitting around the dinner table and they wanted to go out and play. But they always had to do one thing before they were allowed to do that. And that's they had to eat all their fruits and vegetables. And see, eating for me has never been a problem. Me and food, we love each other. We hang out all the time. Me and food are best friends. But vegetables, not so much. And there's always one vegetable that was the bane of my existence, and that was carrots. I hate the taste, the smell, the texture, anything about them. I just don't like them. But the big excuse my mom would always use to make me eat them was, it'll help you see better. Which is exactly what God did through carrots. In this amazing journey of faith, God opened my eyes to not just who I am, but whose I am. Now, I have a very large family. I have 4 sisters. I have an older sister named Allie, and I have a younger sister named Maggie, and another sister who we went to China and adopted back in 2006. Her name is Sophia. And I can write a million speeches about all of them and the amazing journeys I've had with them. But with my youngest sister, I have a particular journey that I'm going to share with you today. Her name is Gia Kimmy Bell Newlin. We adopted her from China back in 2010. But that journey even began earlier than that with my mom when she went to China in 2009 to help the Christian music artist Stephen Curtis Chapman open his orphanage called Maria's Big House of Hope. So she was over in China helping these kids, painting and doing the things that we do to help open an orphanage. But one night she couldn't sleep. She felt something weighing down on her, so she was walking the halls of this orphanage, and in the darkness she heard a young child crying. And she goes and she's searching for this child, and she finds this child, and she picks it up, and she's holding it in her arms, and the baby falls asleep as she's rocking her. Little to my mom's knowledge, that was going to be her daughter and my future young sister. So my mom came back stateside, and she was telling my dad, Mike, about this amazing experience she had and how we need to do this. And my dad said, all right, through God, we're going to make this happen. The first adoption took 3 years to adopt Sophia, and the second one only took a year with God's help. So my mom, my dad, and Sophia, and my grandmother hopped the pond for the second time to go and adopt Dee Bell. And so they're in China, and one thing about Chinese culture and this about China is you cannot drink the water. It's not pure. It has contaminants in it, bacteria, and parasites.
Guys, go sit down.
So my mom and my dad and my sister and my grandmother are on a short flight from one province to the next. And my mom wasn't very hungry, but they gave her a good flight meal. And all my mom did was eat 3 small carrots. And here we're back to carrots. And so she ate these 3 carrots. And the next day she was sweating. She had a fever. She didn't know what was going on. She was sick. And so she went to go and get help at a hospital in China. And so when they're there, and the doctor said, all right, we don't really know what's going on. When you get back to stateside, seek further medical attention. So they're back home. They went to the doctor, and she got some antibiotics, some pain medication. She was doing better. And then one day I come home from school, and the house is dark, and no one's home. I'm very confused. I don't know what's going on. I'm frazzled like I am right now. And then I go and call my dad. I'm trying to get him on the phone, and I just can't get a hold of him. And then finally he calls me back and goes, hey, bud, let me talk. I don't have much time. He goes, we don't know what's going on. Your mom's not, we don't know. Your mom's not well. She's getting worse. I'll call you when I have more time. I love you. And hangs up. And so I'm there, I'm worried, so I do what every Christian does when the bad things come. They go to their checklist, and they go and they're reading the Bible, and they get on their knees, and they pray, and they're seeking God. They do what all Christians do when tragedy strikes. This is what I thought Christians would do. And so then the days go on, and still I'm home alone for the next few days, and I'm still just confused. And finally my dad calls me again. He goes, hey, bud, it feels like we're in an episode of House. We just don't know what's going on. We've been seeking different doctors, different medications, and we just do not know what's going on. Your mom gets better and then worse, and better and then worse, and we just don't know what's going on. And he hangs up. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm just so conflicted in my mind because I don't know what's going on. This big God who we just went to seek, we just went and did his will in China. We did what he called us to do, and we were repaid with just sickness and tragedy. And I don't know what's going on. I'm just so confused. And so then I'm just mad at God. I'm yelling at him in this empty house. And I just take my Bible and I throw it as hard as I can against the wall and say, you know what, God, I'm done. This journey's over with you and me. You have no more love to give. I don't know what's going on anymore. And so then I go to bed and I come home the next day after school and I go and I pick up my Bible and it's face open on the ground into this verse. This verse blew my mind when I read it. It's in 2 Corinthians. This is the first verse I read. And it said, but this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. Let me read that one more time. But this happened. So my mom getting sick happened for a reason. And this reason was that I will no longer rely on myself, but on God who raises the dead. This verse took me to my knees and into my face, and I was just crying out to God, wanting to seek him, wanting to be with him. I felt his presence all around me. And God just took me and turned me into a completely different person. He showed me not just who I am, but whose I am, and I am His. With a small little orange carrot, He changed my life. He changed my family's life. I don't know what's going on in your lives today, but if you would look to God in every situation, when the storm is there, you're getting hit against the rocks, look to God because He can raise the dead in any situation.